What's up, StarCraft fans? Welcome to the very first episode of Arcade Learn to Play, or what I like to call Alt-P. For the very first episode, we're going to be taking a look at one of the top 10 games, one of the longest running, I believe, top 10 games you'll see on the arcade, Marine Arena. For a quick reminder, this video will not explain everything about the game. This guide is intended to strictly be a, hey, you saw this game on arcade? Let me give you a quick rundown about how the game's played, what it looks like, and what it's about. So, with that out of the way, let's get some basic info down. First, the map was created by a modder by the name of Crayon. You can see that at the top of the screen right there. And its current developer is Joshin, or Josin. I am completely unsure of how to pronounce that, and I do apologize. Marine Arena is a MOBA-like game with an emphasis on control and micro. The teams are broken up into 4 teams of 2 players, with each of them occupying a corner of the map. It goes without saying you're not going to see the typical Dota or MOBA style map here. It's a very interesting take on the map layout. You still have your central center path that you would consider the mid area, and your off lane or side lanes or corner lanes or however you want to call them still exist, but they exist in a different capacity, as it were. Instead of allowing you access to the regular set of spawned creeps, you are now access to the person's base to your right or to your left, giving you direct access to the side of their base instead of the direct center. Every base is mirrored. The map is completely mirrored all the way around, so that each player and each map and each base all has equal access to each other's areas. Obviously, the only variation to that is the cross spawns, in which you must go through the entire center to get to the other base. This is sort of balanced out with the destructible debris in between the side bases, which you'll note on the map. This makes it so that even though the distance may look shorter, you still have a winding path and debris in your way to get in between them. So essentially, all the way around is the same amount of time, or the same distance, to actually get into the base. Alright, now that we've taken a look at the map, let's get into the juicy stuff, the game itself. When you first enter the game, you're greeted by a game mode selection screen. In this game mode selection screen, you can choose which mode you would like to play in. There is Classic, Normal, Tournament, and High Income. Each one is exactly the same game, with the exception of how much minerals you start with, your income, if any, how many survivors you get, and the max supply limit you have for that game. Once everyone has decided which game type they want to play, and it is strictly up to votes, there are 10 ticks in each area. The one with the most ticks wins. You're next then greeted by the Merc selection screen. And in that you are given the choice of one of 4 Mercs, of which you can purchase for free, and that will be your starting mercenary. The mercenaries are the Zealot. The Zealot is exactly what it is in the regular game, and it has its strength and its weakness. By that I mean it is good against Marauders, but it is not so good against the Sharpshooters. After that, you have Zerglings. Again, same unit. It is good against the Sharpshooters, but not so good against Marauders. After that, you have the Sniper, or Sharpshooter, whichever you'd like to call it. They are best against the Zealot, and they are worst against the Zergling. Finally, you have the Marauder, which is good against the Zerglings and bad against the Zealots. So, as you can see, each of the starting Mercs has its strength and its weakness, and they are all within the 4 Mercs. Therefore, it's sort of a rocks, paper, scissors type scenario, except there's a 4th option. So, rocks, paper, scissors, lasers. Let's go with that. These are just the 4 starting mercenaries. Each of these mercenary has the ability to be upgraded into a different type of unit. For example, the Zealot can become either a Warp Zealot or a Templar Zealot. As you see on the screen in front of you, there are several mercenaries from which you can choose from, upgrade to, or replace your old ones with. Now, it's beyond the scope of this particular video to go in depth of each and every one of them, so maybe we'll do that in another. Now, as you can see at the top of the screen, I am currently in test mode. You do not get 100,000 or 1,000,000 minerals and Vespane gas immediately in the game. Instead, I'm using this mode so that I can show you what you can and can't do, getting max upgrades, what they look like, how the upgrades affect each of the units, and each other tier of the units. So, let's start off with control. I have control now over all of the units, but essentially you are only given control of your Marines and your mercenaries. However, shared control is an option in case you're not that good at micro. Moving on from control, we'll take a look at the command center, the ancient of this game. This is the structure that you must defend with your life, as if it dies, you are out of the game. Since there are 2 players on your team, you are given 2 command centers. Within the command center is essentially everything you need. It contains the upgrades for the Marines, it contains the upgrades for your mercenaries, and it contains the upgrades for the unit that I have not explained yet, the heroes. We will cover the heroes very shortly, however for now we're going to stick with the upgrades. The upgrade system is very unique in the sense that it compensates for your spending. By that I mean if you were to spend a single point in the Marines attack upgrade, it will benefit both the hero and the mercenaries attack upgrade. As you can see by the tooltips as I hover over them, every time you upgrade the attack of one unit, you upgrade the attack of all other units by 50%, as it says. So, for the particular situation that I have in front of me, 1 Marine, 1 Zealot, and Jim Raynor's hero unit. When I upgrade the Marine by 1, the Marine gains a singular point of attack. So he goes from 6 to 7. The Zealot itself, its base attack goes up from 11 to 11.5. Now when you look at Jim's, his goes up from 40 to 42.5. So, a full level for a Zealot would have been 1, a full level for Jim would have been 5. So they gained 50% of a normal upgrade. The same thing would happen if I were to go and take the Mercenary upgrade and apply that. The Zealot would gain its normal amount, Jim would gain 50% of that, and the Marine would also gain 50% of that. So it would go up from, if at base, the Marine would go up by 6.5, and Jim would again go up by 2.5. Adversely, if I gave Jim an upgrade in attack, he would gain a full 5 points, whereas both the Marine and the Zealot would gain just 0.5. This means that if you take all of your money and you spend it strictly on your mercenary upgrades, your Marines are not going to be completely worthless. They're not going to be as strong as you could have had them had you teched your upgrades into them, but it also means that they're at least halfway close to where they should be if you had spent the money on them. This makes it so that even though your Marines are not going to be as strong or as useful as they could be, they're still not going to become just cannon fodder and or feed the other players. The next thing we'll talk about after I shuffle my units off to the side are the shops in the center. You have 2 arena shops and 2 elite mercenary shops. The elite mercenaries are just specialized mercenaries that you can use for various spellcasting and support tactics. You have one that can cloak your all units, the mothership. You have another that can reveal cloaked units. You have support units and healing. You even have giant battleships. Again, that is a little bit beyond the scope of this video, so maybe we'll check them out later. The arena shops that you find at the top and bottom, they have specific upgrades that help your heroes as well as your Marines. For example, your Marines can get upgrades that affect their attack speed, their health, and their attack damage towards heroic units. The arena shop also houses the location of your heroes level up. Instead of leveling up through experience or through killing extra units, you can come here to the shop and purchase levels. Jim, the hero that I have currently out, can level up to a max of level 6. Once we go up to level 6, since we have the cash, we'll take a look at his stats after that. As you can see, as I hover over his attack stat, his attack has increased substantially. He has gone from roughly 46, after only receiving an upgrade for the hero slot, the upgrade for a Marine slot, and an upgrade for a mercenary slot. His attack has risen to a hefty 140 plus. As a final little note about heroes and upgrades, the hero has 1 less ability. This isn't present for all heroes, but some have the ability to even be upgraded, or in this case for Jim, being promoted. When promoted, he loses 1 attack and gains another, so it's sort of like a modifier or an ultimate ability. Doing this will trigger a huge announcement, and by huge I mean an announcement that tells everyone, including people not on your team, that you are upgrading this unit. After that, it makes it so that the unit is completely immobilized and completely vulnerable, cannot attack back, and cannot be saved. So, since it is very expensive to get to this point, it's very expensive to upgrade them. Please be sure you pick a safe area within your base. And speaking of bases, we have to be able to defend them. Your units won't always be just sitting chilling in your base. Sometimes they'll be out attacking, sometimes they'll be out defending, and you'll get flanked. So there's got to be several different ways that you can defend your base without the use of your units. And the first one is planetary fortresses. Your command center has an ability for 350 minerals to be transformed into a planetary fortress. Essentially the same thing it does in the main game. It becomes high HP, high attack, and splash cannon. Now, just in case you can't afford something so expensive at the time, and since it does take quite a bit of time to actually upgrade into it, you can use deployable turrets. These turrets are used up with the energy on your base, and you can deploy them in a small arc around the front and even sometimes in the back of your base to defend against waves. Another useful way to defend your base is using defensive structures. Defensive structure is an upgrade that you can find under your base defenses that will give you 2 bunkers, 2 Protoss cannons, and it will replace or repair your missile turrets. The player that uses this ability can also have the chance to put their units inside of the bunkers. The next way to defend your base is by making it stronger, essentially. The base upgrade makes it so that all the structures that are in your base are increased in armor and increased in health. The next defensive structure you have are spell towers. Each one of these towers has a very specific use for it. The first one that you get is the sensor tower. It is the exact same structure that you would get in the normal game, and it does the exact same thing. It gives you a cone radius of tracking, so you will be able to see not the cloaked units, but units that are just within its range. After that, you have the ability to upgrade that sensor tower into one of 3 specialized structures. The first of which is a support structure. The support structure is useful for healing your units as it stands around it, mass healing heroes, revealing enemy units, etc. The second one is the anti-unit tower. The anti-unit tower is made for destroying large clumps of units with large AoE spells. The final tower you can get is the anti-hero tower. This tower is used for single target mass damage. It's made to take out hero units, especially in the late game. Your final defensive ability should be saved for your absolute last cause. It is called the Savior. Depending on the game mode you're in, you'll either have 1, 2, or no Saviors. The Savior is a small infested Terran unit that pops out of your command center and annihilates massive amounts of units in single shots. It does have a specific amount of damage, so it will not one-shot heroes. However, most other units will be hit in one shot and destroyed immediately. However, it does not move. With that being said, you do have control over it. Its lifespan is very short, so take control of it very quickly and move it around to the area that has the units in it that you need to get rid of. Alright, StarCraft fans, you've seen the map, you saw the pets, you know about the upgrades, you know how they affect every other unit, you've seen the heroes, you've seen a little bit of the elite mercs, you've seen the base defenses, you've seen the layers, the amount of stuff here in this game, and I truly hope that you enjoyed the video. I hope that it helped out a little bit, you won't be going in blind, and hey, you'll probably have some fun. That's what it's all about. Be sure to check out marinearena.info. So that's marinearena.info. No .com, it's .info. Check that out. You'll have big forums, plenty of people to chat up with, see about strategies, maybe even find a tournament to pop in or once or twice. There's a lot of fun stuff up there. Check it out. Say hi to the devs. Let them know that their game rocks. And as always, do all that YouTube stuff to the video. Be sure to let me know if this was something you like, something you want to see. Maybe there's a specific game you don't know jack squat about and you want me to give you the intro, hey, what's up? And as always, have a good one, guys. I'll catch you in the next video. Later.